Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to For the Fan, episode number 147. As always, I am the worst Call of Duty of all time player, Will, and we got Colton, who's the pro prop hunt player, Dom, who's at one time MLG, and Jake, and I don't know when the last time he played Call of Duty was. Probably early college, high school.
Early college.
There we go. See, I almost got it all on the first try. And speaking of the first try, follow us on all the social media platforms down below. YouTube for the Fan Network, TikTok for the Fan Network, X for the Fan _ and Instagram for the Fan Football. We have a couple people coming in here on TikTok. Gentlemen, Thanksgiving came and went. We feasted on some good games, a lot of good endings on games. Friday was a thrilling game, despite, the Raiders playing, but they held on to the very end. Sunday's games were great. Monday night was contender for game of the year. It could be up there. It really could, but hey, I don't know. You guys got any other thoughts before I hit the intro here?
I think it was actually a really good slate of Thanksgiving games on Thursday. That was a good slate of games. Good games. Enjoyed them. Yeah. All the night games.
Ate a lot of food coma, whole 10 yards.
First year I didn't fall asleep during the Dallas game.
Yeah.
I was planning on it for this year because, Drew Lock and Cooper Rush doesn't really spell money for me, but all right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You are listening to For the Fan.
You are listening to For the Fan.
And here we are live and in color. And let's recap Thursday here really quick. The Chicago Bears ended up shit canning their coach, Matt Eberflus, after probably one of the most odd game endings you'll see in probably the modern era. One timeout left. Caleb Williams takes a sack. He doesn't call a timeout. He just essentially says, you know what? Fuck it. We throw it. And, an overthrown ball to Roma Dunze essentially caps off the Chicago Bears era of Matt Eberflus. And, gentlemen, got to ask you your thoughts. It's, hey, a guy who's about to get fired, they draft a rookie quarterback, the coach gets fired. It's just a whole thing where, like, 4 head coaches now into this thing to where another head coach is going to be picking up the pieces of what Eberflus left.
I'm going to start calling this the curse of Lovie Smith. Because apparently he wasn't good enough and got fired when they went in 6. And ever since then, they have been a dumpster fire.
It's kind of wild. Like, you have all these rookie quarterbacks, man. And then, team has trouble. They have trouble to succeed. And then they go through all these coordinators, all these head coaches. It's just like the worst possible situation you could put a rookie quarterback through. I mean, Bryce Young, that's nothing about that is fantastic. It's just like how it goes. I don't know. And they had issues in the locker room as soon as they went back to the locker room. I like that the GM or owner or whoever put Eberflus out for a press conference, like made him go out there and do media, and then he walked out of that and immediately got fired. I think that's hilarious. So that's,
I don't know why he didn't call a timeout. Also, like, what are you doing running hurry up?
Yeah.
After getting sacked.
Yeah. But I don't know.
We all knew he was going to get fired. I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Oh, 100%. Well, this and Dennis Allen we said it since last year. Both dudes need to be done. And then both teams went into the season with those 2 head coaches. And look what happened. Here we are right now in the season, and neither of them have a job. So it's not okay that 4 dudes from New Jersey could be getting this stuff right half a year ago, and those teams aren't,
I could call it right in my Madden franchise. If I get sacked, I'm calling a timeout. I need time to process and pick a good play. I don't want the clock to get drained.
I'm glad that you
Child's play.
I'm glad that you compared your game management in Madden to a real life situation that a head coach went through.
See, he also took his sweet time,
getting
the play out.
And I don't even know if he entirely knew what play was going on either.
But now I think it's the next question is like, I don't really know the next question. It's what's next for the Bears. Obviously, they're going to bring in a guy. They're going to maybe head off some like early success because, it's kind of what the Bears do with a first year guy in their organization. But it's kind of like, who else in this league can get fired? If you think of it like that, like I don't really think there's any other people. I think Dable might be a name that pops up. And that's about it. There's not really anyone that's like in danger.
Doug
You do have
Peterson.
You do have Peterson, McCarthy in Dallas, but Dak's, ranting and raving about him. He wants him to stay around for 2025 and beyond. So that's an interesting thing there from Dak.
Yeah,
Jerry doesn't seem to have any problems with McCarthy.
Yeah, Jerry said, "Oh yeah, he's good" or something like that. I don't know. Not too long ago, like only like a week or two ago, he was.
It's like a weekly thing. Like he completely keeps like confirming that he's the guy.
It is like a weekly thing.
He has his weekly thing on one of the local Dallas stations every Tuesday. He's always on the air talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry is?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a weekly spot on a radio show. He talks about the Cowboys every week, and then he threatened to not do anything about it. And he was going to be like, you know what? If you guys are going to ask me all these questions, I'm going to stop doing these. This was a couple weeks ago. It was an interesting interview.
That was probably after
really
the
is.
Lions.
Oh yeah, definitely after that. And then we got a suspension here. Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shire suspended for 3 games after a very big hit on Trevor Lawrence, ripping his helmet off. Essentially, the sideline's clear. Players are going after one another. He got ejected right after it. Per the VP of Football Operations, John Runyon, in a letter to Al-Shire, your lack of sportsmanship and respect to the game of football and all those who play, coach, and enjoy watching is troubling and does not reflect the core values of the NFL. And John Runyon wasn't a guy who would take it easy. He would give it to you, but obviously 20 years ago when he was playing is a lot different than what we're going through now. You used to see all those big hits on ESPN, like, oh, hey, here's the top 5 hits, and people are literally having their necks broken, they're flying backwards, concussions galore. That used to be a thing back in the day. Now you don't see it anymore. And to Scooby Dooby's point here in the TikTok comments, Trevor Lawrence now on IR. I might effectively end this 2024 season with 5 games left to go. Mac Jones, who is going to be playing for a contract somewhere as a backup, maybe competing for a starting job, gets his time to shine. So, yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the league going after Al-Shire on this one?
The statement is just the wild part.
Yeah.
Like, when do you ever see the league take a stand and they call somebody out like that?
Yeah, that's a crazy way to go. It's a borderline unprofessional.
That's what I
way
thought.
to go about it. And does that statement come after the apology and like gigantic paragraph that the player put out?
He put it out early Tuesday. I don't know what the time frame was from when this came out, and according to his apology.
The apology came out Monday morning, like pretty immediately after.
Okay, yeah. So this was Tuesday when this came out. And I can also get another one too, where he goes, after the illegal hit, you proceeded to engage in a brawl, which you escalated when you pulled an opponent down by his face mask after the referee announced that you were disqualified for the hit of your unsportsmanlike
He's right. He's right. They're totally right, by the way. I don't want to hear it. This guy's got a history of kind of some dirtiness on the field.
Yeah.
Dude, you're telling me you whiten up the quarterback like that, and you're not gonna. You don't think
his hands up like.
You don't think you're getting your ass waxed by the old line, like Evan Ingram going at you, bro. Put your hands up. You know what you did, and like try to get the hell out of there. Instead, you're instigating, still going at guys. Nah, sorry. At 3 games, I think it's a little much, but he's got a history. I saw a video pop up of him like choking Tom Brady when he was on the Buccaneers. Like, this guy's got some history in the league. So, like, sorry. Same thing. Like, you have history, and there's tape of you with some dirty hits, like or dirty plays. It's gonna add up, and you're gonna get canned for it. So,
like, the suspension, I don't really have a problem with. Maybe one game long, but like, like fully expected. It's just like it's more the like borderline unprofessional part of the statement that it's like the weird part.
It is weird, and it's weird that came after. Like, I don't know if you guys read his apology. His apology was like pretty sincere and heartfelt, and it was like,
Oh, I went on Twitter and I didn't see his apology, but I saw like his address getting posted everywhere where he stays during the off season. Like people like found everything. We're just like exposing him on like that hit.
I mean, he couldn't just write it out because the word count was too much, so he had to like write it in his notes and take a picture. Like it was long. It was a legitimately very heartfelt, sincere apology. He talked about the game, talked about players, teammates, everything. So I am a little surprised that the league took that stance in a way and had to write that. I was kind of surprised.
Well, this is just John Runyon who's
that's a
commenting it.
reactionary. That's there's no way he didn't see that apology. And he's that kind of surprised. I will say
he's appealing it. He is appealing the suspension, so it'll be heard by either Derek Brooks, Raymond Foster. I think it's being heard by Foster, and then you have the other two people like Kevin Mawai and Jordy Nelson who will also hear it. But I think Foster's the one who's taken the appealing hearing.
I will say I don't know if you guys have seen it, but this has really, really, really sparked conversation in the media, like NFL Network. Brady talked about it pretty extensively. Some other players and media about like kind of going after offenses and going after the rules more than it is going at the hit, and defenses making those hits. And just like the media and Brady talking about like, hey, like, this allows quarterbacks to slide late. And they take advantage of that. They do that. And Brady said, give a penalty to both sides of the ball. Stop quarterbacks from sliding late. And I've seen media say, if you want to protect your quarterbacks, why do you design for them so much? And there's been a lot of conversation about offenses. I don't necessarily agree with any of them yet, at least. I don't know.
It's not going to change. It's not going to change.
I don't think it will change.
The game is very different. Brady, I know what you're talking about. Brady was on with Colin Cowherd. He was like talking about his hit against Buffalo. Guys were telling him the next day, like, dude, you can't take those hits. Like you cannot take those. And the league's very different. We know it now. You hit the quarterback in the face mask and you're just trying to reach for the ball or try to bat it as he's throwing it. And you still get 15. It's like you think lighting him up like the 4th of July like that? You're not like, what do you think was going to happen? So it's not going to change. The league's gone in a very different direction where you can't hit guys, where even if it's a hard hit, there's a 50-50 chance, 60-40 chance you're seeing a flag on it, even if it's clean, even if it's no head involved from the DB, it's not hit upstairs, you're still having a very good opportunity there's a flag thrown on the play. It's just what the sport is now. So the fact that you saw Trevor Lawrence have the Tua stance after he got lit up like that, what do you think? Like, what we think was going to happen? And the fact that it's a guy like Trevor Lawrence and not the history that Tua has, and looked like that, and that's scary. Mm-hmm. It's what it is. The media is terrified. The NFL is terrified of all the bad PR of like guys getting pretty much knocked out on the field like that. So you got to know who you're going after. I get it. It sucks. We've seen how many times have we seen Mahomes this season sneak by, not getting hit because guys are scared to hit him. It sucks. But the league has to be more consistent, blowing plays dead on things, or they're going to get lit up, and the problem is you're going to get flagged for it anyway. It's
you got
what it is.
Fruity here in the comments says, do you think he should have gotten 2 games and the $100,000 fine? I don't think he's getting paid at all during the suspension. I don't even think he gets like any game money for this.
Check.
Yeah. So he loses 3 games. I mean, it's probably
I
might be on par with.
I don't know where the number was for it, but I mean, like, okay, we're complaining about 1 extra game. It's probably going to get brought down to 2 games after the hearing.
I think so. That was
2 games is the appropriate thing for this.
What? What'd you say?
I was saying 2 games I think is appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably get brought down to 2.
Yeah.
And here's everyone's favorite part, the injury roundup, where I just really go through my Twitter notifications and tell you everyone that's on the injury report. We're going to start out in the Motor City, where 9 years ago yesterday was the Hail Mary by Aaron Rodgers, and coincidentally the Packers and the Lions duel tomorrow night. Jaheir Alexander and Romeo Dobbs are ruled out due to a knee and concussion. The Lions have already ruled out Taylor Decker and defensive lineman Josh Pascal, DJ Reader, along with a couple other ones. Let's see. Let's scroll down. Okay. Not finding a whole lot here. This isn't good. 49ers placed Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason on IR, effectively ending their seasons. So in accordance, they claim Izzy Ibanaconda from the New York Jets to help their running back room, and they also promoted Patrick Taylor Jr. to their active roster while signing Keyshawn Vaughn, who, if you remember all the way back in the COVID era, he was on the Buccaneers as running back 2. Evan McPherson placed on injured reserve, so a big blow for the Bengals and their kicker, and they signed Cade York to take over kicking duties. Treylon Burks, the struggling wide receiver, underwent surgery for a torn ACL and is out for the rest of the year. Deontay Johnson, he's not hurt. He's suspended because he didn't want to enter the game against the Eagles on Sunday. So 1 game suspension for, detrimentation? I forgot what they called it here. Yeah. Conduct detrimental.
What
there we
word did
go.
you-
I don't even remember what word I used.
Determination?
Yep, there we go. Let's see. There's a lot of news about the Team Sweden and all those teams for the big NHL hockey matchup there. Drew Lock will start on Sunday for the Giants, so another week without Tommy DeVito, so no Cutlets on the sideline this week. Micah Hyde returns to the Bills, signing to their practice squad. Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert, knee injury labeled as week to week. They signed CJ Uzama in accordance to that move. And I think I might have had it all. I don't know. I don't really see too much of anything else here. Unless you want me to talk about Aaron Rodgers' Netflix documentary.
No.
Okay, cool. Then I won't.
So
And then we also, and Fruity here also asked, do you guys think Aiden Hutchinson comes back if the Lions make it to the Super Bowl? His leg, I mean, he didn't have anything that punctured through the skin. It was a very clean break, so he didn't have any blood vessels or nerve damage or anything breaking through the skin. So, and they said it could be a thing, but I think it's all about that mental game because, now he has 2 rods in his leg trying to piece it back together. So,
could he possibly be back for like a NFC Championship game?
I think it's just the Super Bowl. So I think it's because he had surgery that night that he broke it in Dallas. So it would be about 4 months since that.
I mean, I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
Like there with bone breaks, there's not like a huge rehab process. As much like a ligament tear.
Then a couple more Packers injuries too. Josh Jacobs is off. All these guys are off the injury report. Josh Jacobs is playing. Kenny Clark, John Fitzpatrick, Elgton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Rasheed Walker, and Kobe Wooden for the Packers. So one team a little bit healthier than the other, but hey, the NFC North is still up for grabs here. 2-game lead for the Detroit Lions. And Dom, I hand it off to you for these power rankings.
True. Forgot about that. Okay. Boom. So this was last time we did week 8. I believe it was week 8, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Week 8, week 9, somewhere there.
Made sense to me. So that was the extent I went into that. So this is our week 8, which is going to be in orange on either side. You'll see it in a second, but I'll reveal just I think back 5, bottom 5. Yeah, there you go. So as you see, I mean, pretty much the same teams flow around the same area.
No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise here. Giants drop 5. Everything else kind of stays.
I didn't even notice that.
Jets dropped 5. Look at that, 5 or 6 to make it where they are. But
Raiders went up. That's good.
Oh, yeah, it's just a spot because we hit 9.
It's always good to improve.
something like that. Here's our next little spot. Still some of the same teams, man. The Cowboys remain somehow a little bit better, even though they lost their starting quarterback.
Shout out the Panthers. We have improvements.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
big improvements.
huge for the Panthers.
I don't think there's anything more different than the Panthers and Bears and how their season's going right now. Started well for one, bad for the other, and then just completely flipped.
Bears at 17, they dropped down. Panthers at 31.
Look at how far the Bears fell.
Yeah. That's what is that? 8 spots. Well, the Panthers made it up 8 spots, so there you go. Well, flip flop. Other than that, I mean, everything else, the Saints made it up a little bit. Browns remain around there. Titans remain. Cowboys remain, and I believe the Dolphins are going to remain when I reveal this part. Oh, Dolphins improve. Makes sense. Big drop for the Niners, 14 to 21. Makes sense. The Bengals somehow stay in that spot where they are. It's crazy. Quite a drop for the Falcons. We had the Falcons top 10. Here the Falcons are approaching 20. So
Kirk Cousins has to go. I'm like so over this Kirk Cousins experience. He's the reason why they were 6-3. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in like 4 games.
Yeah.
It's not a good experience. I think you might have to put in Michael Penix at this rate. I think that's what you got to do.
Well,
I don't know. This is what we get for talking about the Falcons.
See, Colton bought in on the. If Colton never bought in on the Falcons, man, I think they would be doing so much better. But he believed because Dom gaslit him to believe.
remarkable that makes a difference.
You asshats.
All right, let's go to the front area.
Rams consistent.
Rams.
Commies, baby. The commies came down to earth.
Yeah.
It's Jaden It's not Jaden Daniels. It's Cliff. And ever after what November hits, Cliff just falls off a cliff.
Second half.
Poetry in motion.
Look at the Seahawks. Seahawks moved from 20 up to 13.
They got
That's
their
an
shit
improvement.
together. Like they started out 3-0, and then they went like 5 losses. Now they're on like a 3-game winning streak again.
Winning the division right now, right?
They're in the lead by a game. They're over the Rams and the Cardinals.
Yep.
So if the
The
Cardinals
Cardinals-
won, the Cardinals would be in first, but they lost. Just look at
Yeah.
that. You just have a nice little sandwich there. You just got the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Rams all, right in that little area of the top 16.
And then, like Colton pointed out, the Commanders dropped from 5 all the way out of the top 10 for us. All right, let's reveal a majority of it. Broncos making it in from 15 to 10. Chargers making it in from 12 to 9. The Ravens dropped substantially after they've dropped a few games. The Steelers, they go get a little bit of justice there, Colton. The Packers move up a little bit. The Vikings move up a little bit. The Chiefs drop as they should, because last time we did this, they were undefeated. All right, let's do the top 3. Boom. Eagles move up. Bills move up. Lions remain. The one consistent part, really. The Lions and the Rams.
This is from mid-season. So this is from week 8 to entering week 14. Well, after week 13.
Yeah, after Thanksgiving.
We do quarterly power rankings, but since now it's weird because it's 18 weeks, so you can't really like establish a quarter anymore outside of the first 4 weeks.
Yeah. Any biggest surprises? Any?
Oh, the Broncos. The Broncos are making us fucking eat our words.
Yeah.
They're surprising everyone. I think the Broncos are the biggest shock of the season, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton ends up winning Coach of the Year because of
the
this.
biggest shock of the season will forever and always be the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't want to say that, and it's going to be like, oh, well, you're just saying that because of Sam Darnold. Like,
No, you're not just saying that. I mean, I picked that team to finish last in the division. So
we all
I mean,
picked them to
that-
finish last in the division.
Like the fact that they're going to easily make the playoffs. Like, yeah, they're the surprise of the season. Like, as far as NFC wise, it's them. AFC, you could probably say either the AFC West teams. You could probably say the Broncos or the Chargers. Just like how fast Harbaugh turned around them, and the fact that they lost 2 of their number 1 receivers, and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and they're still like very relevant.
And they're really good in the passing game still too. Like Lab McConkey is like him.
Yeah.
H1M. He's him.
I still think he makes case for offensive rookie of the year too. I mean, Jaden Daniels is great, but like they've dropped a little bit, you know. We did the preview for the Broncos and we dismissed them pretty quick, called them awful and moved on and thought, yeah, here's our last.
Nothing of it. Just there we go. Toss it behind us.
Yeah, that's how it went. And so the fact that we even remotely put them on, I think is pretty astonishing.
I got Bree in the comments here. It says the Steelers and the Broncos nearly identical identities. They have nearly identical identities. Colin, I don't know if you can agree or disagree on this one, but I'm just saying, hey, Russ-related stuff. They lose Russ, they're good, and then they gain Russ, they're good.
I agree with that. I think the Steelers have a more consistent passing game. I know Bo Nix has played a lot better. I would trust the Steelers offense a lot more than the Broncos, if you're asking me. So, like, I guess they're very similar. But, like, I don't know. I trust Russ a lot more in the passing game going down the field.
I will say, Bo Nix is absolute bullet of a pass. Did you guys see that 40-yard
pass? To Mims?
Freaking bullet, dude. I don't know if I've seen
the 90-yard touchdown to Mims.
Yeah, that if you have not seen that pass and seen how hard and how fast that ball traveled, you got to watch that because that thing was insane, dude. That pass was nuts. I mean, the speed that ball traveled was kind of blew my mind. I didn't expect that.
I'm anti-Denver. Screw Sean Payton.
Correct. So this hurt me.
Yeah. I had a hard time putting the Broncos here because it still doesn't make sense to me, and I still don't understand exactly how it's coming together every week. But, I mean, I think they deserve the spot. They earned that spot through our dismissal of them.
Can the Texans ever figure it out, though? Texans or the Bengals, it's already done for them, but, like, jeez. Like, they've been hovering around 10 on all 3 of them. Like, they just can't become the team that everyone kind of thought they were going to be.
No, they improved their roster and improved their play somehow.
CJ Stroud is just hitting that slump. Like, he's getting hit right in the face with it. Like, a door just hitting him.
Sophomore.
Like, the offensive line is atrocious compared to last year.
And Joe Mixon, I mean, he's having a career renaissance. He's going to get paid. I don't know how much he'll get paid, but he's going to get paid. I mean, if he didn't miss those games because of that ankle injury, crap, I think we might be talking about him up there with Saquon and Derrick Henry right now with, like, the most yards in the league.
Possible. Definitely most touchdowns.
I mean, he's definitely going to get paid because all 3 of the top rushers this season are the guys that got moved teams and got paid.
Yeah.
So that narrative's dead.
Yeah. Running backs are needed again. Running backs are. They have single-handedly
made running backs great again. That's what they did.
Are this year more important than quarterbacks?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But
got anything else here, or should we move on here?
No, we can move on.
Okay.
I think that was a little telling with stuff, and I think it was pretty good to see some of the teams around where they were. Some of the teams improve. That top 10 showed a lot.
Honestly, though, good for Carolina.
Yeah, good for Carolina.
Like, these last couple
they still can make the playoffs.
They could.
That division's so bad.
I hope they do. You know what? Bryce Young's been playing really good, and he might get lit up. I shouldn't say might. He's going to get lit up by the Eagles on Sunday, and I hope that doesn't make him regress back to pre-benching Bryce Young. I'll be very upset if he does.
And now Adam Thielen's back, and he just had like a couple highlights this past week.
Yeah, one-handed catch. I think it was the catch of the week.
So
Right on the sideline there in overtime. So I got two things here. We can answer a couple fantasy questions, or I also have another couple questions we can answer ourselves here.
Well, it's fantasy time. It's that time on the clock.
Fantasy time. So we got Hugo here who says he asked us. I know you guys are doing power rankings, but I have a quick question. So I obviously replied, we got you. So he says, who do I start? Will Levis versus a very sad Jacksonville defense, or Rodgers versus a Dolphins defense that just got dominated by Jordan Love in the Green Bay?
Well, the problem is that the Jets don't have a winning record, so Miami's going to stop them.
And we haven't won in Miami since Rex Ryan's last game as a head coach. So
that's insane.
let's put that. That's 10 years. Okay. At the end of this month, it will be 10 years since the last time the Jets won in Miami. I think the Jets will get off to a fast start, and then it's just going to regret. Like that's what they did against the Seahawks. They got off fast and then just completely regressed to a middle school offense.
I got to say, I really actually think Will Levis is kind of a move. I've played him in fantasy the last couple of weeks because I dropped Aaron Rodgers because I said enough is enough, and if I'm gonna fail, I don't want this guy on my team failing or succeeding. I don't care. So I didn't even trade him or anything. I just dropped him off my team. I don't care what happens from there. And I picked up Will Levis, and it's been a good couple of weeks actually, much better than it was with Rodgers, we'll say.
And you got Caleb Williams too.
Yeah, and he doesn't succeed, but he gets me fantasy points, and I'm okay with that.
And surely Dom won because ESPN told him he had the 99-1 advantage to win this week. Surely you won, Dom.
I did. And then Jameis Winston threw 7 billion yards. And
I'm just saying, hey, he had the most passing yards in a game. He had 6 touchdowns, and the picks and the interceptions accounted for 167 yards. He has the most passing yards in NFL history.
I hate you. Oh my God! There's nothing I hate more than talking about Denver, Atlanta, and Jameis Winston.
You're just a hater, man. Okay, him with his little highlight thing when they're comparing the stats, and he's like,
"I'm fine being a hater. That's fine. I'm just so glad, and I thank every single day when I wake up in the morning that the Steelers don't have Jameis.
I hope he cooks you again. I hope he cooks the Steelers.
No. It's not. It's just he's very much like Tomlin the way he talks, and I get way too much of Tomlin, where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't need any more of the Jameis Winston quotes. Like, God Almighty, please. I get it with Tomlin. I've had enough.
Alec here says Tua or Love to start this week.
Tua?
Love is going against the Lions Thursday night, and then Tua's playing the Jets, and they're also at home this week. So the Dolphins play a lot better when it's 95 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, I think Tua is a move.
Tua.
I'd say Tua.
Gotta talk to him. That's what you gotta do.
I hate you. Oh my God.
And also he came back. He also came back and said,
and the more you talk, the more I just want to walk out of here. Dude, I've had enough of Will. Truly. Oh my God. You bringing the boom, the Huck Tua girl, dude. I gotta tell you, it drives me insane when I'm going to fill out the doc and I see the Tua stuff there. I'm getting sick and tired of this crap.
Alec also came back and said, start 2 running backs, Bucky Irving, James Cook, or Jacobs. I think it might be safe to play Bucky Irving. I think he's a great play. I regret dropping him in fantasy, and I would say Josh Jacobs.
That's a great 3 to deal with.
It is a good 3 to deal with.
Bucky's like the yards guy. It's like the Eagles. Saquon gets all the yards, and then Jalen Hurts just gets the rushing touchdowns every time.
Oh, Hassan said, boom or doom, Jordan Love.
Boom! Give it a big boom.
He's out.
With Will this time.
And then we got
I would say Jordan Love might be a doom this week, depending on who your other options are.
I mean, last time he was in Detroit, he cooked them on Thanksgiving. He cooked them last year. But also, we have to look at the moon cycles and all that stuff if they're in the moon cycles align.
I just beg. My brain can only take so much of this garbage. Please.
And we got Lenny here who says Tony Pollard, Garrett Wilson, or Juwan Jennings, or DeAndre Swift for flex. I think Garrett Wilson might be the safest bet you can put at flex. Pollard just been iffy. Juwan Jennings, I don't really know what the Niners' offense identity is anymore. And then DeAndre Swift, yeah.
DeAndre Swift is not a bad second option on that list.
I would
but,
go
like,
Juwan Jennings, honestly.
See, I was thinking that too. I don't know.
The injuries scare me with the running back situation now. Like they may just like throw the ball a lot more and put Debo in the backfield. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing stuff like that. Same token, their season's over. Oh boy, them and the Bengals. By the way, that's another conversation. We could do that for like next week. Like the Bengals and the Niners, how different things are going to look next season for both those franchises.
TJ sent us a little TikTok emoji there. And Alec came back. He says, my running backs are Saquon. He also has Saquon, too. So, like, obviously, it's just one piece that he has to fill in.
So how many teams do you have in that league? Do you have, like, 5 or, like, 4? Like, how the hell do you have Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irving, and James Cook? How? What?
Bucky Irving was like the waiver wire claim. Like, he wasn't drafted, like, at all. Like, I picked him up, like, early.
Oh, I know. But like, the fact that you have all that is kind of nuts to me.
TJ said Caleb Williams or Justin Herbert this week. I think.
Honestly, the Niners defense isn't scary anymore. They're just so injury ridden.
They are not the same thing. Like I got to really check their practice report because you saw Fred leave the game.
Yeah.
Trent Williams, Nick Bosa.
They might shut Fred. They might shut Fred Warner down.
Like, yeah,
honestly,
seriously, like anybody with a minor injury, like you're just take a seat.
So he's playing with an injury. Played with an injury. I think they said he's playing. I forget what the hell they said.
A fractured tibia.
That's it. I think he's got a broken bone or something, and he's been playing.
He has a broken leg. He broke it in the Patriots game, and he's been playing for like, I don't know, 10 straight weeks now.
Yeah, I would just shut him down. He's way too valuable.
Get a high draft pick. Cam Ward.
I would.
They're not even remotely close to getting in that tank range. They're going to be like around 10, 12.
Yeah, easily.
I mean, they've only offered 3 first-round picks to get a guy who wasn't on their team in 2 years. So, like, what's another 3 first-round picks going to do if you just, want to move up?
We have a couple questions. Brandon says, Love or Goff? I would go Goff in that situation, I think.
Yeah, I'm going Love.
Okay.
Love.
At least for me, I think Green Bay's defense is legit. I don't know what the scoring is going to be in that game Thursday. I think it's going to be
ridiculous. Both teams have 7 days off, so it's going to be ridiculous.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, at least for me.
Ozzy says pick 2, DK Brian Thomas or Nick Westbrook-Akine. I think Westbrook-Akine is going to be a very funny play moving forward because he's like in the top 5 of like touchdown scores and he has catches.
3.
It's
touchdowns, 20 catches.
Yeah, I think he's top in that group of 3 that are all tied for.
I think he's got 8 touchdown catches.
Yeah, he's up there. It's like him, George Kittle, another guy who have 8. Jamar has 10, and then there's like another guy who's at like 9. He's a funny play.
Parker says Bucks or Dolphins defense. Might have to go Dolphins defense, maybe, man.
The Jets.
I would go Dolphins defense. And then we got
Darnell Mooney for Braylon Allen because I have Breece Hall.
I don't think he could drop Darnell Mooney. I think it's like he has that odd slump right now. I don't think he can sacrifice dropping him.
I kind of agree. You have Breece Hall.
And you got Blue, who says Pickens or London. I'm going to go Pickens.
As long as Cousins is the quarterback right now, you can't.
Yeah, but London's still gets points. Got me 17 points this past week. Like he had 90 yards, 8 receptions. Like he still gets a ball thrown to him. But I would say Pickens is more of a consistent play anyway.
I think you're playing Pickens until Russ dies.
But yeah, go back to you, Ozzy. I think we might say DK and Westbrook-Akine. I don't know about Mac Jones and his throwing capabilities.
I'm good with that. Noah said Caleb, Stafford, or Winston. Probably Caleb, honestly.
I would go Caleb. Winston, had his big game this week, and I think that's really it.
I would go Stafford.
Stafford, yeah.
Against Buffalo?
I he's going to have to put up a boatload of points if they want to even have a chance of winning the game. That's why I say Stafford. Like it could be he's throwing a bunch of passes late in the game. That's what I'm saying, Stafford. I've been burned by Caleb so many times this season in fantasy. So, like, I'm, like, anti-Caleb Williams. So.
I really wanted Jaden, and then I got told we had Jaden at home, and it was Caleb Williams. So I was a little upset that I couldn't get him this year. TikToker says, is Bucky still the guy this week? Yes. He's
1,000,000% Bucky's to play, like, going forward.
He's got to be in your flex or RB2 slot. Can't be anywhere else. If he goes on the bench, you lose. Little emoji guy sitting here says, McConkey or Myers? This is interesting because everyone on that Raiders team had a really good week in fantasy. Like Jacoby was popping off early. But then McConkey, who's expected to practice today for the Chargers, the report hasn't come out yet, but wait till Friday. But I would say Myers right now, McConkey's going to get probably taken off it, so I would go McConkey by Friday.
You cannot start Ladd at this moment, you know?
Imagine dropping him.
Dude, I drafted him in so many leagues. It's fantastic. Jacob said, pick 2, Jonnu Smith. I want to say Breece Hall or Calvin Ridley.
Got to start Jonnu Smith, man. That's like the needle in a haystack finding the waiver wire.
Yeah, Jonnu Smith has had like 8 catches a week at least. And then Breece Hall, you still have to go Breece Hall, I feel like. I don't trust Calvin Ridley.
Eli says, Freiermuth or Devonta at the flex this
Smith.
week. I'll go Devonta.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that questionable?
Yeah.
He lost 2 weeks.
Jeez.
I'll go Devonta if he's healthy. But he was working out in the pregame, so you got to think he's like getting there. So I think he has to at least come back like next week. Probably. I don't know.
Ozzy says golf, not golf. Golf or Caleb Williams. What do you guys think? Golf?
I would still go Caleb, man. I think, I think Caleb might be the play.
Caleb got me points in fantasy, but I haven't had him for that long.
Juwan Jennings or Brian Thomas Jr. or Tyrone Tracy at flex. Might be a Tyrone Tracy type of day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say Tyrone Tracy.
He's been nice. Lions Forever said Goff is better than Caleb. I agree. But
accurate, yeah. Right. This week I would put Caleb a little bit over. And then Tina says Westbrook or Breece at flex. God.
I don't know.
Who do the Titans play this week? Oh, they play the Jags. You know what? No, give me Westbrook Akine. Honestly, that's a fun play. Give me a fun play here.
Do we like Chubb this week against a tough division game in Pittsburgh? I don't know.
I don't want him to run in Pittsburgh because the last time he was there, his knee went into an L, and I don't want to see that again. So I really hope they don't play him. Out of respect, I don't want him to play there this year.
You're gonna play.
I'm not awful. I'm just saying.
Colton, what do you think? Do you think Pittsburgh shuts down Nick Chubb?
I mean, he really didn't run great last week. Last time they played him, he just found the end zone twice.
Yeah.
If he doesn't find the end zone twice, then he doesn't really have a great day. Again, touchdowns are ginormous in fantasy football, but I don't think so. No.
I mean, it was also a blizzard.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Jacob Lee says Breece is questionable with knee injury. Should I start Isaac Gwendo or pick up Braylon Allen? Breece is going to get off the injury report because he's been dealing with this since before the bye, and they thought he might get put on IR and just like end the season, but he's still playing through it. But I mean, I would start Isaac because it's the only guy who knows the offense on the Niners that's healthy.
I don't know. I don't know if that's like Colton brought up a good point. Like you don't know if they're just going to use Devo as a de facto running back,
or even Kyle Juszczyk.
But Isaac got points last time he had to play, and then he got points this past time. He had 8 points, and he only played a portion of the game or whatever. I don't think he's a bad start, to be honest. obviously this week is definitely going to be telling because going forward, it's either they're going to have to commit to something starting this week. So this week's going to be telling. I mean, if you have them on your team, if you want to pick them up, it's not a bad pickup. But just be aware that we don't know how this week's going to go. They could use Debo a lot at back. They could just pass and not run, which is not their identity, which is weird. I don't know. It's a weird play. I think it could be a good play. I also think it could be a bad play. But picking them up, I don't think is a bad play. I think it's decent to have them right now. But
here we go, Colton. This question's for you. Should I start Calvin Austin over Garrett Wilson this week?
Calvin Austin scored in the last 2 games. So also, though, he did get hurt in the game, took some shots to the noggin. So I don't know if he's even going to be active this week. So that's something we're actually monitoring in Pittsburgh, what his practice availability will be. As Tom likes to say, we'll let his practice show his availability for the weekend. So if he plays, I'd probably play him. He's been a lot more involved in the offense than Mike Williams. I can tell you that.
Innes said, need to DK, Devontae Adams, Jaden Reed, or Marv.
Maserati Marv. No, I think you got to play Devontae Adams. Like the amount of targets he gets, it's kind of crazy that Aaron still gives him like 1 million targets. So I think you got to play him on that alone.
Jaden Reed had a decent game against Detroit last time they played. I don't think Jaden Reed's a bad play either. So probably maybe Adams and Jaden. Delgado says risk Jameis or stick with Goff.
I picked up Jameis. They
Wait.
throw the ball way too much.
Hold on. You were like all about like I can't stand Jameis.
Dude, I can't stand Jameis. I never said anything about his play. I'm talking.
Is there money on the Colton? Is there money on the line in this league?
I'm in money. I don't do free leagues. I can't do free leagues. Can't do it.
Is there a lot of money on the line?
They're all ranging from $100 leagues to the lowest is 25 to a max of 150. But I picked up Jameis because CJ Stroud's been driving me absolutely bonkers how shit he's been this season. Yeah. And I got I go and check the quarterback wire every week, and I'm like, all right, is there anyone here that's like worth grabbing? So like I'm starting Sam Darnold this week, but then I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh, Jameis Winston's there, and they just throw the ball 1 million times. I'm like, oh, Jameis Winston's tempting. And the thing is, I don't hate Jameis for his play on the field. I hate Jameis is like off the field, like how annoying he's been at the microphone.
I told myself I want to play in the snow.
It's funny because I deal with it in Pittsburgh with Tomlin, with the Tomlinisms, and like I don't find it entertaining. Like, oh, we're gonna paint the barn red. Okay, great. Like usually barns are red. Thank you. We're gonna like thanks Tomlin. Like it's the same thing with Jameis. Like I can't stand it. I'm very glad.
My kids sent me a video of them playing in the snow, and I said, as a Florida kid, I want to play in the snow.
Exactly. Like I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. So that's why I don't stand Jameis. I think he's great for fantasy purposes, and I think Cleveland should keep him next year. Because
they're not keeping him because they don't want him to upshow Deshaun, and then
they're screwed.
Oh, hey, we got to pay him $140 million in the next 2 seasons because we kept on deferring all this money.
I will say, you said the CJ Stroud thing has been tough this season. The league I'm doing the best in, and that I actually genuinely have a chance to win in, I have CJ Stroud and Cousins as my quarterbacks.
That's me too. I got CJ Stroud in like the best league that I'm in. I'm like 9-4, 9-3. I forget how the math adds up. And CJ Stroud's my quarterback. I'm winning despite my quarterback play right now.
Yeah. Every week I got to decide between those two, and it sucks because whoever I decide, I mean, they both just like can't do it every week. It sucks.
So how do we feel about this trade that I did? Since we're talking fantasy football, I did it a few weeks back, and I look like a genius. So it's a keeper league and it's an auction league. So you got dollar amounts, and you can keep one position, and then you have we have a super flex. So we have 2 quarterbacks clearly. So I traded away Brock Purdy, who's on his last year. He was cheap, which is why I kept him going into this year. but I traded him. And by the way, I'm not trading him just because I'm not in it. I am very much in it. I am currently second place in that league. So I traded away Brock Purdy, and I got Bucky Irving back in the deal for $1, might I add, for a running back. And I got Xavier Legette. Again, he's not as spicy, but I got him back as well for cheap. But I got Bucky Irving for $1. And running backs, running backs usually are like the people that keep two running backs. So I had no running backs for the team I took over. And I drafted Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones. And I spent $77 and $51 on those two guys. And I got Bucky Irving now for $1.
I mean, this was probably before Bucky Irving was like taken off. Like
No,
he was going off, and then just like
I did that trade like 2 weeks ago.
Solid, especially just getting two.
And you know what I did? So I picked up Bryce Young. Bryce Young was the only quarterback like 4 or 5 weeks ago because there's no quarterbacks like left at all. Like last week when all those quarterbacks like Kyler was on a bye and Carolina, I had no quarterbacks playing. I lost clearly, but I kept Bryce Young and I went all in on Bryce Young. And I look like a genius. Bryce Young and Kyler Murray are my two quarterbacks. I couldn't believe I traded away Brock Purdy.
Just kind of panned out.
yeah.
Of that stupid stuff like that panning out.
I went into it, I'm like, oh god, do I want to trade Brock Purdy? Because like Purdy was actually putting up like high points. I'm like, oh god, do I trade Brock Purdy? Because like again, I'm in second place. I'm 1,000,000% making the playoffs, and I could win money in the first year. But I'm like, I think Bryce could be better. Like I'm like, they're getting Thielen back at some point, and like this is put up or shut up time for Bryce Young.
And now you might even start him going forward. Not this week, but like.
Yeah.
Oh, like I said, the double flex. Bryce Young's. I'm starting him like the rest of the season unless he dies. He's a play.
All right.
I got a couple more questions here. I got Sammy here who says Kyler or Baker this week. Baker played Foley despite him believing his Achilles popped on a sack against the Panthers. He practiced Foley today, so I would still say Kyler. I think Kyler's a move. They're in the dome. Seattle has to come in. They just played him 2 weeks ago. I think they're going to play him a lot more difficult. And again, Seattle's got to fly back cross country, do all that stuff, yada, 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 that stuff. We got Michael who says Ingram or Laporta to start this week at the tight end spot.
Laporta. We just mentioned the same thing about Mac Jones with Brian Thomas earlier. So, yeah, I'll take Laporta.
Yeah, but when did Trevor start again during the season? Was it just this past week and that was it?
2 weeks
ago. 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Because I will say, I have Ingram in a league.
Oh, no. It was this week because they were on the bye last week. So, yeah, he had that shoulder thing. So,
I tell you what, Ingram, when he came back from injury or whatever, since like week 8, he's put up double digits every single week. He's a consistent play. Sam Laporta could do more, and he had a great week this past week, but yeah.
And we also got Jerry Jeudy or James Conner for the flex. I would have to say Judy's a play moving forward, like a big play, especially after that breakout performance.
Yeah,
he's Jameis's guy.
And we have a YouTube. Hey yo, how's it going? How's everyone's leagues doing? I, for one, can say that I blow, except for one league, which is a money league that I'm doing well in.
I'm retired.
He's retired.
I'm in 3 playoff spots, and then one league where I'm just 3-8-1, just completely shit the bed this year. In that league.
Me and Will in a league, by the way. We are the bottom 2 teams in this league, and we're the only teams eliminated. And we just wanted to piss people in this league off, so we traded all of our players with each other this past week, but made them individual trades so that everyone got tons of notifications.
Everyone got 9 or 10 emails from every single trade here, and I have a chance to knock out the commissioner from the playoffs this week. And I'm hoping I get to do that. Yeah.
Both of our teams, so like no one cared about the trades, but it was just funny. But so what do we got?
He dropped Eckler and Mason for Gwendo and Westbrook. I like those. Those are good moves, though.
I think so. I agree. And Eckler's hurt, right?
He's on IR. He's not playing again
So that's a
until
good move.
maybe week 18 or the playoffs.
All right. You wanna?
Yeah. Let me just get Ashton here because he's been putting this in here. So for Calvin and Garrett, Wilson's only been putting up 5 to 8 points. And Calvin's been a W, especially versus the Browns. I would still, yeah, I would start Calvin. So, but watch out for the injury report, as what Colton said.
Yeah, I would definitely watch the injury report with Calvin Austin.
Yeah, Fruity, I'm not seeing your messages, but I will answer. I'll have this one because you did ask this earlier here. He wanted to ask us this question, and usually we don't have a debate thing when we do power rankings, but I want to ask this before we get through the rest of our show. Is Bo Nix deserving of Rookie of the Year over Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, and I add in Ladd McConkey because he's the best receiver. Well, he's on pace to be the best receiver this year.
I still think it's Jaden's award to lose because he can definitely he redeemed a lot with the game against the Titans.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It is definitely Jaden's to lose, but if he's gonna lose it, I mean, Bo Nix also. Yeah, I got to look at his stats. I'm not too aware of his game. I just know he's been better than everyone expected, and he plays solid.
Let me tell you Bo Nix's stats.
You got to think that Ladd puts up over 1,000 yards, right? Rookie year,
Yeah,
over 1,000 yards. You know, if he could put up like 10 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, I mean, that's a good case. You know,
but we always know that they're going to default to a quarterback if they.
Ladd's not going to get it, and neither is Brock Bowers. How disgusting Brock Bowers has been on an awful Vegas team. It's Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix. It depends how they finish the season. Like, if Denver makes the playoffs and the Commanders somehow fall out of the playoffs, like, it's going to go to Bo Nix. Like, if the Broncos fall out of it and the Commanders make the playoffs still, it's going to go to Jaden Daniels. I think that's how it's going to go, to be honest.
Bo Nix right now has 2,842 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Has not lost a fumble this year. And then for Jaden, he has 2,819 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And he also has, another 6 rushing touchdowns. I think Bo Nix has another, 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I still think it's Daniels, though.
Jaden's to lose for sure.
Now, Brits is on pace to break Ertz's catch record.
That's kind of wild. Is that a rookie thing?
No.
That's a straight up catch record? Yeah, that's pretty nuts, actually.
I still can't believe that the Raiders got Brock Bowers at pick, 13 or 12? That's crazy.
Yeah.
One of the best tight ends we've seen coming out of the draft in, a very long time.
Since Kyle Pitts?
No, he's actually better than Kyle Pitts. You actually saw him actually do it consistently.
What was it? Greg Olson. Greg Olson reposted a thing that he put out in 2021. He says when Brock Bowers makes it to the NFL, everyone has to be on notice on the defense. He said that when he was a freshman. Wow. He just went out and says he's going to put the league on notice when he gets out there, and he just reshared it. I think it's fitting.
I feel seeing that. That's Go Blue, by the way. Big shout out to their win yesterday over Wisconsin. Back-to-back wins for ranked Michigan. Love Dusty May. Anyway, and screw Ohio State. Shove that up their ass. That's why we speak of tight ends. There's rumors about Michigan with Colson Loveland being a first-round tight end. He's not nearly as hyped as Brock Bowers was. And Brock Bowers fell to 12. I think Colson Loveland, who's one of the best tight ends in the country, has to go back to Michigan and play with Bryce Underwood. I know we're a football show. It just instantly hit me when we're talking about Brock Bowers. How the hell did he fall to 12? That's mind-boggling.
It's because apparently the Jets really needed him, and the media just slams the Jets, even though, Tyron Smith's on IR, so we have Alu Fashanu, and he's going to be a cornerstone left tackle for the Jets for hopefully 10 years, 15 years. Who knows how long is.
This whole thing, he hasn't even allowed a pressure yet.
Yeah, he didn't allow a single pressure against that was when Leonard Williams was on him. He was blocking him the whole time. Leonard Williams only got to Rodgers when he was on the other side of the line. And let me get Fruity's question here, but because he wasn't going through. Is B-Rob's fantasy value for the playoffs good or what? He's good. He's great.
Yeah,
he's good. He's wonderful.
He had a solid game again this week, didn't he?
Yes. Well, let's go into this here. Game of the week, gentlemen. There is 16 games last week, and yeah, which one are we picking here as our top game?
Low-hanging fruit. I'm taking the highest scoring game in the league for the season, and that'd be Steelers-Bengals. Entertainment-wise, you had a shootout, so it's fun to watch for the common viewer.
I did enjoy the Thanksgiving Detroit game. I really did. I thought it was a good game. It was close, obviously, but it was enjoyable. It was the first game on the Thanksgiving slate, so like really you're motivated and hyped up. You haven't eaten food quite yet, so like you're not in like that sleepy, depressive state like after food where it's just like where you're regretting eating so much and all that stuff. So that's like the most hype moment of Thanksgiving is, oh yeah, football starts now, the whole day, food coming up soon. Like everything was right about it, and they delivered the game. So I enjoyed that game the most.
I'm going to pick the Jets and the Seahawks. Seahawks had to come back from a massive, 21-7 deficit, and they continue their reign as undefeated inside of MetLife Stadium. So 6-0 or 7-0, something like that. Yeah, they got a lot of wins there, no losses. So I'll pick that. What about you, Jake? You going to be picking?
Will is so depressed. The Jets have really broken him.
You can't break me. I'm already broken, so you can't break what's already broken.
Honestly, this is
damn it.
Hit a new low this year.
Yeah.
As your friend, I'm weird.
I don't blame you.
I think Garrett Wilson should get traded. I think they're going to trade Breece Hall in the offseason. That's what I think. They're gonna trade Breece Hall, and they're gonna get some draft assets because they don't have a third round pick. They don't have a lot of draft capital, and running backs are easily replaceable in this league. So Braylon Allen, train 2025. But yes, Jake, what is your game of the week?
I don't know. To me, there were so many good games.
There really was.
You
could be the one that picks it a mile above sea level.
Someone already said it. Oh no, you were.
Did Dom say it?
Never mind. No, I was. I only caught the tail end of the Tampa Carolina game, but that ending, I'm like, oh, Tampa or Carolina won the game. Blah, like they throw that touchdown at the end of the game, and I'm like, oh, all right, it's over. And then I see it went to overtime. I'm like, how did that happen?
I don't even know how did that end?
Tampa
Panthers scored with like 30 seconds left, and the Bucks drove down the field. Bucks turned it over. Panthers then punted, and then Bucks won it with like 2 minutes left. McLaughlin, 50-yard field goal.
2 minutes left in overtime?
Yeah.
Fumble by the Panthers. They didn't fumble.
Oh, it was Chuba.
Chuba Hubbard fumble. Won me some money. Back-to-back weekends with some wins, baby. We're over $100 on the year, baby. Woo!
It's glad to hear someone's up in the betting world. I always have to hear about one guy that's always telling us about bets, and they're just floundering.
Hey man, I'm not a big bettor. I don't got money to bet big, but I'm sitting there. I'm throwing like $10 every week, and I do a all touchdown parlay and then like an all spreads parlay, and I do them $5 a piece, and we live and die on it. That's what we do. And gotta win. Thank you, Chuba Hubbard, for coughing the football up.
And here we go. Everyone's favorite buy, sell, and hold. Week number 14 edition. Gentlemen, where are we going for our buys this week?
This hurts. Oh, this hurts. But it's got to be Denver. They're real. It's not some, they're picking off bad teams or winning ugly. Like, they're stomping some teams. It's very painful to have to admit that I picked them to finish like second last in the league, and they're going to easily win the playoffs.
Hey, Will, can I ask you a question? Because you write mine down, right?
No, I don't. I write Colton's down. You were like, oh, see, look, you're like, oh, look, I went to the dollar store. I got this big, beautiful notebook. I got these really cool pens. I'm writing them down every week.
I know.
God, I am buying Bryce Young.
It's a move.
You're not wrong.
I-
They were possibly going to be my hold this week, but I picked something different.
I think I wrote a buy down for last week.
You wrote something, and you were just not in the right headspace to remember it. You were just sending us sweet potatoes and turkeys and all sorts of stuff. It's coming back. It's coming back to him now. It's coming back to him.
I don't want it coming back. Oh God, thank God Thanksgiving's over. I don't have to think about Thanksgiving food. Down could kick rocks as far as food thoughts.
I'm gonna buy Green Bay because I previously held them. So that's I did that for that purpose. They've been playing well. I'm gonna buy them, even though they definitely lose this week and probably will. But whatever, they'll compete. Yeah. I think I bought. I don't know if I said this. I think I wrote this down for the purpose of I was going to say this a week ahead of time, and I don't think I did. So I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna buy the Chargers, man. I think I held them previously. I'm gonna buy them because I think I wrote it down for that purpose. Never actually said it on the show. But they, I really they just had a bye week, right?
No.
The Chargers just beat the Falcons.
That's right.
So they beat the Falcons,
Which is even better because I held them at the same time and I already sold the Falcons. Yeah, no, buying the Chargers. I think they're really an actual competitor in this league, and I think going into playoffs, they could play surprise to a team or two in the wild card round. So who knows, man? Good defense.
I'm gonna match Jake's buy as well. I'm gonna buy into the Broncos, and yeah, Jake explained it already. How about sells? Where are we selling on this week? Can I go first?
Sure.
I've already sold on him once. I got a double sell again. Justin Tucker, holy hell, what is going on with him? He sold his soul for the longest kick in NFL history. Remember when David Akers made it in 2013 in Green Bay? He had a 63-yarder, and then all of a sudden he fell off the face of the earth immediately after. Seabass tied it, but Seabass also was around for another 6 years after that.
Yeah.
God. And then Matt Prater. I think Matt Prater tied it. No, Matt Prater broke it. Or am I thinking of
I think he broke it.
Or am I thinking of McManus?
No, I think Prater broke it at one point. I don't think it was after 2013. I think it was earlier.
Yeah, it was 2014, I think it was broken.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, Justin Tucker sold his soul for the longest kick, and now he's kicking rocks, is what Colton says. So, yep, Justin Tucker's a double sell for me.
I'm gonna take low-hanging fruit. I am selling Chicago because you had it. You were right there. I'm trying to take that step of no longer being a dumpster fire and a good team, and you just go and blow it.
I'm gonna sell Ohio State. Those freaking losers. Those losers in the shoe. Selling Ohio State in NFL wise. I'm going to sell off on I had it. Oh, where am I going? I had it. Oh, the team I hate the most. I feel like I might have sold them already. Atlanta.
You probably have. I could go back through.
I think you piggybacked my sell of them 3 weeks ago.
Let's see. I ran out of paper, so I did on the very last page and I messed up. So I'm writing it on the back end of the hardcover of the notebook because I've honestly so messed this up.
Tell you what, the end of a notebook is pretty
sell. Let's see.
Pretty respectable.
Who did you say? Atlanta. No, you did not sell on them, and I do not see a hold for them either, or a buy.
That's shocking.
I thought he bought him 3 weeks ago.
No, he definitely didn't buy him.
No, definitely not a buy. Definitely no buyer in Atlanta.
No, I am not seeing anything here for even a hold or even a sell.
I'm skipping the hold. I'm selling those asshats.
Okay.
Well, I'll just piggyback right off that and move it along. Pulling a Dom right now, and I am holding for the purposes of possibly selling next week, and that's Atlanta.
You did say that before the show.
If they can't look at least competitive against Minnesota, they're done.
I did this 4 weeks ago, and they haven't looked competitive since. I held them for purpose, then sold them the next week, and that was 4 weeks ago, and they have not. It's
No.
Dom has cursed them.
If they're not even if they're not about to win the game,
yeah,
they're getting sold.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Jake's sell of Chicago too. I have never bought sold Chicago this whole season. I haven't touched Chicago on this segment, so this kind of throws them to the side. Done. Don't have to talk about them on this segment for me. They're sold. They're gone. That's where I'm at with my sell.
And what about holds? Where are we going for holding? What are you holding on to? The wall, the oh shit handle in the restroom, the oh shit bar in the car. What are you holding on to this week?
Oh shit handle in the bathroom. What is happening that you need to hold on to that in an oh shit situation?
Dude,
You're just fighting for your life.
You never know what situation you'll be in. And speaking of holding,
You just feel in your lower intestine. You just go, oh no.
dude, I don't know what I'm gonna hold on to.
You know what?
The Rams. Have I held the Rams? I'm gonna hold on to them.
5 weeks ago.
Let's see. I do not see a hold on the Rams at all.
Like they're good. I feel like this. I'm doing the old Jake thing. I'm gonna hold on to the Rams to possibly sell them next week.
I still earned 1 week. I'm gonna hold on to the Bucks. I have never done anything with them this season either, so now I'm introducing some new teams to the conversation for me and the equation. And I think it's possible that I could buy the Bucks eventually. So I'm gonna hold on to them.
What's funny about Tampa is week 3 held them. Week 6, week 5 I bought them. Week 7 I held them. Put them back down to a hold.
And they're still.
I think they're just
limbo.
sitting there though right now.
My hold is going to be Billy Jeans, aka Will Levis. I don't know.
Actually,
I'm holding on to it.
He's been playing. Not the
well,
best.
Not well.
Not the worst either. I mean,
You're either getting a 70 or longer yard touchdown or an interception and a meme. That's what you're getting out of Billy Jeans.
They really have.
That's going to be Will Levis' whole career. He's just
Hit or miss.
mid.
Did everyone get their holds in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A week 14 is here. We got 13 games on tap after Thanksgiving weekend. The last week of the buys. Let me do this thing real quick here. Where is it? Bam! Here we go. So last week, let me get the docs up here. There we go. Yep. Identity fraud. Identity theft isn't a joke, Jim. Who cleared out the totals down here? Good thing I remember them. So Dom and Jake went 15-1 last week, and then Colton and I went 14-2 on our picks.
Way to represent, guys. Way to represent. Good job.
I blame you.
Me.
Why I didn't go undefeated because you're stupid Patriots.
And then I decided
in that game.
I decided lone wolf the Bengals killed me.
But here we go. Thursday Night Football. Packers, Lions. This is what's going down here. Clean sweep of Detroit is what we got going on here. And then for Sunday slate of games, the Jets travel to South Beach, where they haven't won since 2014. They take on the Miami Dolphins, and we're all picking Miami to win.
Wow. Okay.
That's not a surprise, Dom. Don't say wow on that. And then we got Kirk Cousins returning to Minnesota to face the Vikings here, and the Dolphins. The Vikings. The Falcons have not had a lot of good success on offense. Kirk Cousins has gone 3 straight games without a passing touchdown, and he hopes to probably restore that in Minnesota. And we're all taking the Vikings on this one. Then New Orleans travels up to the dump we call MetLife Stadium to take on the Giants. We're all clean sweeping the New Orleans Saints on this one. And a quick trip down I-95, which is about 2 hours from MetLife. You go to Lincoln Financial Field, where the Panthers are taking on the Eagles. We are all taking the Philadelphia Eagles. 10 days later, 17 days later, these two teams will be facing, this time in Heinz Field, and probably not a blizzard condition there. The Browns and the Steelers, we're all taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then the Raiders, which the last time they played in Tampa Bay, if you can recall, Derek Carr and the Raiders had 175 penalty yards against them, and they still somehow beat the Bucs in overtime. They hope to play upsets this week, but we're all taking Tampa Bay. Then the AFC South, or if you guys remember, the original Color Rush uniform, where the honey mustard Jaguar uniforms and the bright ass Blue Titans uniforms take place. Colton, you're lone wolfing the Jaguars here.
Wow.
I don't know if you're keeping that. That was before the Trevor Lawrence. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Dang it, I am muted. Jacksonville showed me a little something on Mac Jones at the end of that game. It could be that just the Texans suck. But they showed a little fight at the end of that game. Mac Jones almost brought him back and backdoor covered my ass, but they didn't, thank God. Taking the Jags. I think Tennessee sucks. I can tell you I'll be paying 0.000 attention to this game. This is one of those they should have sent. This is one of those they should have sent to Europe.
Yeah, this is his favorite team, Jaguars.
The Jaguars. The Jaguars already played over there. I don't think they could give them 2 overseas games in the same season. Well,
They
3
did.
because they play back to back, but I don't think they give them a third one.
Trust me, we can give them a third.
Oh,
We
and then
should
Colton's going to
send
say
them
we should just give them a 4th and a 5th. Like, come on, why are we stopping there? It's like Billy Mays. But wait, there's more. Okay, but speaking of more, the the Seahawks and the Cardinals, they battle again 2 weeks ago after that ending there in Seattle. They play in Arizona this time. Jake and myself are picking the Cardinals, while Dom and Colton are taking the Seattle Seahawks.
There you go, Colton.
That's a switch knowing that Dom picked this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a little bit toxic in your situation there. Usually when it's split, whoever's on my side loses. So,
and then when you travel through some deserts, you eventually make it back to California, and then you make it to where the Rams play. And whose house? It's Rams' house, but it'll probably be Bills Mafia house on Sunday. They host the Bills, and we're all taking the Bills on the sweep here. To continue the trend up the West Coast, we go into Santa Clara, where the Niners host the Chicago Bears. We're all picking Jake is taking the Bears on the upset here. You want to defend yourself?
Nope. I have 0 words for that. I was really hoping that would just go under the radar.
And then another California team we're talking about, the Chargers, go to Kansas City for Sunday Night Football in a very cold matchup I'm expecting there in Arrowhead. I am lone wolfing the Chiefs there. We got 3 people here taking the Chargers. So.
Oh, really? Damn it. I thought I was going to be like the only one with this game. Oh.
I want to pick against the Chiefs every week because they stink, but they just get bailed at the end of every game.
And then we got Monday Night Football here, or if you want to watch the Simpsons alternate broadcast, which is happening in Springfield for the ESPN there, or you watch the Manning cast, whichever one you want to lose more brain cells to more. The Bengals and the Cowboys play. We're all taking the Bengals here, and I'm done talking about these matchups.
Side note, you watch the Manning cast as your legitimate
I hate
main
that.
one.
Well, Josh does. We know Josh does.
Oh, okay.
He likes that.
I feel like it's only Giants fans, and then some Colts and Broncos fans, and that's it.
Oh, okay. It's only gonna be like 41 at night in Kansas City. I thought it was gonna be colder there.
That's not bad.
Ladies and gentlemen,
my favorite part of this is hearing and watching Will describe to us how to travel from one matchup to the next matchup in between every single time. I actually enjoy that. Like, oh, we're gonna travel down this road, and then if
you better watch out. Alternate side parking is in effect today, so do not park on that side of the road.
I feel like that's the first time he's done that.
He kind of mixes
if it from Philly to New York, MetLife, that's where I'll talk about it. But other than that, I usually don't like.
But he did it this
because Will doesn't want to mess up his geography and get embarrassed for it, so that's why he just does it with New York and Philly because it's safe. Where this time he got a little frisky and it worked and it sounded smooth. I liked it, Will. Nicely done.
Took a stab. He kind of just took a very broad stab at it. He was just like, well, if you just kind of travel through some deserts, eventually you'll make it to California.
He's right, though. He's right, though.
It did.
He's right.
But that, ladies and gentlemen, rounds out the traffic show here. You can follow us on all these social media pages. YouTube for the Fan Network, TikTok for the Fan Network, X for the Fan _ and Instagram for the Fan Football. Follow us on all the social medias. We're always doing something, whatever. Dom and I were streaming PGA the other day. That was pretty fun. But yeah, that's about it. Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we head into the great beyond called Week 14 and the last week of the fantasy regular season?
And bye week, the last.
I'm here to break Dom's record in the home league. 12 straight wins. I'm here for it. I'm gonna make it 13 on Sunday.
What's your record if you win?
13-1.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna be able to live with myself. You better lose.
You got to tell Joe to lose.
I thought my record and that season was untouchable.
Hey, thank you to Josh taking Patrick Mahomes number 4 overall, and I got Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson at 8 and 9.
I sold my soul to a trophy with a toilet on it.
Well, you broke it into your soul, so that's what happened.
Season either.
I know.
But yes, gentlemen, that is all. I'm going to end the streams here. Everyone enjoy. We're live every Wednesday for the fan. I'm Will, Colton, Jake, and Dom. We are the team, and we say go team. So everyone enjoy, have fun, and yeah,